Hi, everyone. I'm Jason Williams, and I'm the executive producer of Combat Pilot. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. If you're a current member of the Combat Pilot community, we want to say thank you for your participation, support, and encouragement over the past 18 or so months. If you're a new member to the Combat Pilot community, we want to say welcome, and we hope that you'll enjoy watching our progress. The Combat Pilot community is a great group of people. The purpose of today's video is to announce several new initiatives for Combat Pilot. First, to further our development goals, we've launched a Patreon, and we hope that you'll consider subscribing. Many of you over the past year have asked how you can contribute monetarily to Combat Pilot, so we've turned to Patreon to help make that possible. Second, we've also launched the Combat Pilot store, where we will be selling Combat Pilot branded merchandise that we think you'll find interesting. Third, we want to share with you our long-term development plans and potential release schedule that will demonstrate to you how we plan to bring this entire project together and make it a success, hopefully with your support. Finally, we have a surprise for you that's revealed near the end of this video, so stick around. As I mentioned just a few seconds ago, we now have a Patreon account. So let's go over the various tiers and explain what's included. The address for the Combat Pilot Patreon is simply patreon.com/combatpilot. There you can browse the various tiers and read more about our goals for the project and our Patreon. The names of our tiers may sound familiar to some of you old school virtual pilots. The rookie tier is priced at just $3 a month. It is our lowest price tier, and it includes access to a special Discord channel frequented by the developers, and early access to all of our developer diaries. The average tier is priced at $6 a month, and it includes everything in the rookie tier, plus live monthly question and answer sessions hosted by the development team management, and custom digital artwork produced in-house and distributed quarterly. The veteran tier is priced at $10 a month, and it includes everything in the rookie and average tiers, plus invitations to special multiplayer events hosted by the developers featuring classic PC games and simulations, and special lectures about flight mechanics hosted by our lead engineer, which should prove to be quite interesting. Now, the Ace tier is our most expensive tier and is designed for our most ardent supporters who can't wait to jump into the cockpit. It includes everything in the rookie, average, and veteran tiers, plus pre-alpha access to a special build of carrier qualification with access granted in early December 2024. Now, the pre-alpha build included in the Ace tier is just that, a very early version of Combat Pilot carrier qualification that does not include any combat. It is very similar to the demo we showed at Flight Sim Expo, but somewhat improved. It is far from complete. But if you want to try something new and support Combat Pilot as much as possible, then this is the tier for you. Access to the pre-alpha build will be managed through the Steam beta test protocol that many of you are already familiar with, since we currently do not have our own user account system, at least not yet. We plan to grant access to the pre-alpha build in early December, so be aware that if you sign up for the Ace tier now, access won't be granted until December. We hope you'll give serious consideration to subscribing to our Patreon. And now let's take a look at the Combat Pilot store. The Combat Pilot store is linked from the main Combat Pilot website, but the direct address for the store is combatpilot.store. Inside the store, you'll notice that we have created a special wall calendar for the year 2025 that depicts pivotal moments from the Battle of Midway, and each month notes important dates and events during the Pacific War from 1941 to 1945. We think the wall calendar is a unique item that any Flight Sim fan or World War II buff will enjoy. We have localized the store into several major languages, and you can choose your local currency. We have tried our best to keep the shipping prices reasonable, but it's not always possible. All merchandise ships from the US, and please note we are not responsible for any duties or taxes that might be levied by your country upon importation. Also note that not all shipping methods include tracking, so please make the choice that's best for you and your situation. We plan to offer additional merchandise soon, and just like our Patreon, all profits go to funding Combat Pilot development. Now let's discuss development plans and future releases for the Combat Pilot franchise. So, how do we go from nothing to a world-class combat flight sim and make it successful? Not an easy question to answer, as you can imagine. However, we have a plan. Our plan involves making several smaller, reasonably priced titles that we will sell at regular intervals, where each new title adds technology, features, and content to the previous one. These smaller foundational titles will combine to create our first full, feature-complete module, which will be focused on the Battle of Midway. We would rather be in the sales arena sooner rather than later and bring the Combat Pilot community along on the journey. We feel this would be the most enjoyable approach and give us the best chance of success, even if it seems somewhat risky. Now, let's look at the general plan and its progression. This past summer, as you might remember, we showed our experimental prototype at the Flight Sim Expo. We felt that this was a successful demonstration. Now we are focused on our first retail product, which is called Carrier Qualification, or simply CQ, which I mentioned in the previous segment about our Patreon pre-alpha. CQ will focus on flight physics, aircraft systems, carrier ops, user interface improvements, and our geospatial solution. The next title in the series will be Air Combat, which will focus on our damage model and introduce a couple more aircraft. The third title will be Naval Warfare, and this one will focus on the naval component and how large capital ships operate and engage in battle, as well as adding more aircraft. All this work will then culminate with the release of Midway Invasion, which, as the title suggests, will be our first full-size module, which should include all the content, technology, and features necessary to qualify as feature complete, or get very close to that. This will set the format for which all future modules will then follow. After Midway, we plan to produce the Solomons and depict the air, land, and sea battles for Guadalcanal and this very important World War II campaign like never before. With each new title, we will introduce new technology and features like better optimization, multiplayer, AI, ballistics, mission logic, VR support, to name a few. The timing of when we can add each feature or new bit of technology will be discussed in future updates, as they are dependent on many factors, including our budget and manpower. Some items are also dependent on other features being completed first. There are a lot of interdependencies, as you can imagine. Now, as we work on each release, we will also be working on special aircraft that we will sell separately from the main titles. We've already identified several aircraft that we think you will enjoy that will add mountains of additional gameplay and hours to your logbook. Matter of fact, ladies and gentlemen, the B-17 Flying Fortress. Isn't she a beauty? It must be noted, though, that we did not build this model ourselves. We acquired it, and it will take some work to adapt it to our engine and needs. But we wanted to reinforce to you that when we said we were serious about bombers, we meant it. We will talk more about where she came from in the future, but for now, please know that this is just the beginning. Thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed learning about our Patreon, the Combat Pilot store, our development plans and future release schedule, and we certainly hope you enjoyed the footage of the B-17. Don't forget to back the attack and support Combat Pilot. Thank you, have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.